There's finally a new Silent Hill game, and fans already hate it. Silent
Wow.
Hill Ascension is a confusing mix of interactive horror and a battle pass. Konami's Silent Hill franchise has been dormant for over 10 years. The last mainline game, 2012 Silent Hill Downpour, received mixed reviews, with most players put off by its messy combat and scares. It was up to Silent Hill Ascension, the first new installment in a decade, to help nudge the series back to the greatness of 1999 Silent Hill and 2001 Silent Hill 2. But Ascension, the interactive series made primarily by massively interactive entertainment company Genvid, has already failed to impress fans with its very first episode. What is Silent Hill Ascension? Activision blends Silent Hill canon with audience-led decision making like a Twitch stream. It's more a grafted plan than a game, though its interactive horror might remind you of Until Dawn or Telltale's The Walking Dead. Like the latter, Ascension unfolds over multiple episodes. They're spaced out over the next few months, centered on two families slowly ruined by death and mysticism. The first premiered October 31st on the Ascension mobile app and the Ascension.com website. Players have a 24-hour window to weigh in on story decisions, rewatch the series, typically 15-minute long episodes, and solve puzzles to earn influence points, an in game currency that makes fans' decisions more important. Genvid CEO Jacob Novak emphasizes to Kotaku that the most important aspects of Ascension are free: the live streams, on demand experiences, interactive endurance sequences, the ability to influence story outcomes, all free, he says over email. But yes, unfortunately, this thing has a battle pass. You can earn influence points for free, but with the puzzles I mentioned, but the $20 Founders Pack, hold on, available through November 14th, nets you over 100 tiers of rewards and influence points, plus additional exclusive cosmetics, a recent press release says, which lasts through the remainder of the Silent Hill Ascension season, or approximately 6 months worth of content. That doesn't, however, account for the other microtransactions Ascension has, including $20 for a large pack of influence points. How does Ascension really work? $20 is what I pay for movie tickets, so the Founders Pack price alone doesn't bother me much. But those who watched Ascension's first episode say the game's unpleasant user experience and abysmal live show aren't worth the price. I watched parts of the first episode on its Ascension.com archive and found that while the monsters look admirably repulsive, it's difficult to connect with Ascension's characters when their mouths don't move. I also noticed that when switching tabs for a few minutes, the Ascension website would automatically kick me out of its video player, and I reset my watch time. And it reset my watch. I guess the website reset his watch time. These minor frustrations seem pervasive, partially because Ascension isn't prepared for the traffic volume it received, Novak says. We're thrilled by the response and far exceeded expectations. We saw 1 million pre-registrations before we turned the streaming app live, and significantly more concurrent users than we forecasted, he shared. The flip side to such unexpected volume is several systems were strained or unavailable for periods of time, but our team has been working to fix the problems and scale. On October 31st, players reported trouble downloading the Ascension app, logging in, and chat rooms wrecked by barely there spam filters. There's just no filter at all on chat, one popular Reddit commented said. People are able to spam Hideo Kojima coming in my tummy and boost it so it gets pinned to the top of the chat. That is so effing bad. Novak attributes inadequate moderation to unprecedented traffic too. Like several other systems, moderation was strained by overwhelming volume on premiere night, and yes, it is a critical priority already underway to improve and scale, he says. Several block lists that we had uploaded well in advance were not being respected by the system we used, or were being respected arbitrarily, and moderators who were there finding that their moderations were taking 10 minutes to go through. We're working with the company that develops the chat to fix this. You guys are not getting it, a Redditor said sarcastically. Ascension is a full Silent Hill experience in which you get to feel the psychological aspects of monetization abuse, which affects lives of both the game's characters and players. Ascension will go down in history as the most hated Silent Hill experience, another Reddit poster prophesied. Interestingly, Konami seems to understand how important Ascension is to the series. In the game's latest press release, Konami Silent Hill producer Motoi Okamoto said that October 31st is special because Silent Hill Ascension is the first project in the resurrection of the Silent Hill franchise. Novak confirms to Kotaku that Konami Digital Entertainment and Genvin have collaborated closely to find ways to expand the story, character, and monsters of Silent Hill. We feature a diverse set of characters in new locations, first for the franchise, he says. I am very proud of this project, Okamoto said. Ascension's immediate flatlining feels even more depressing now, especially for series fans like me, who are already a little skeptical about the forthcoming Silent Hill 2 remake and ninth main game, Silent Hill F. Kotaku has reached out to Konami for comment on the reactions to last night's episode. It did not respond to Kotaku's request for comment in time for publication. So what do you think of this new game, Silent Hill Ascension? It's more like a live experience instead of an actual game, from what I gather.
Really?
That's what it sounded like.
And it came out October 31st last time I checked, right?
The first episode, yeah.
Hmm. So it's kind of like the Walking Dead experience with the choosing of the choice and stuff like that. Kind of like that, right?
It's kind of like the Walking Dead experience, yes, but it's more like basically making decisions on something you're watching on a live stream.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Wow.
But I
So,
mean, again, this is a clear example of what I hate about where gaming is going. I why do they have to do this live event thing when we just want a game to play?
yeah.
You know, you're going through all this crap that we don't need. Make us Here's an idea: create a game, give it compelling characters. We're past the era of characters whose mouths don't move when they talk, so you're not going to get away with that in 2023. Make a story and make it playable so people can play the game, even if it's a beta. I mean, if it's a beta, then there's a reason that there's only a limited time to try it. But if it's the actual game, I mean, you know, if it's the actual game, let people try it when they have a chance to try it. Maybe they were doing something Halloween night. Maybe they had kids. Maybe they were doing something after work. You know, and their systems weren't even up to they weren't even up to handling the traffic that they got.
Yeah, that's
What do you have anything to say about this?
I will admit this. I've heard of Silent Hill for many, many years since the beginning. I chose Resident Evil over Silent Hill more many times over for the last 25 years. So I can't say much about Silent Hill, how good it has gotten over the years up until a recent time, what I hear. But if it's just as good as Resident Evil and it gets worse after Resident Evil 6 or 5 especially, then it's like, what can I say? It's the continuation of like the same product, garbage in, garbage out, or dilution in, dilution out, and it continues to dilute, and just to the point where it lost it's a shell of its former self. So whoever's behind the makers of Silent Hill, or the first three Silent Hills at least, did an awesome job to create that experience for most people that they die hardly earned back in the 90s and 2000s.
Well,
But
It's a Konami project, but in 1999 and 2001, I think Hideo Kojima was there.
right, that's why. Kojima's behind this shit. I forgot about that. So that surprised me until I was like, damn, how they fucked it up after Silent Hill 5 or wherever Silent
well,
Hill extension.
well, they had Silent Hill PT, which came out in 2014. Um, PT stood for Playable Teaser, but that was canceled when Hideo Kojima was fired by Konami.
Yeah.
And apparently, whoever's handling it now has no idea what the hell they're doing because they're so out of touch. They don't know what people want. If you made a Silent Hill game that was, you know, um, with good graphics, including mounts that move of characters when they're talking, and characters that you could relate to, and the repulsive monsters, which they got that part, and a good storyline, people would be happy with it.
Yeah.
But not. Why do we need this live event bullshit?
Mm,
And then you can't even handle the traffic that you end up getting.
yeah.
Again, that's what I gathered. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I love games like The Walking Dead, but at least in Telltale, The Walking Dead, you still had to move. You still had to go from place to place. And this
Oh
goes
yeah.
for any game: Batman, um, The Wolf Among Us, any game that was like the even Tales from the Borderlands. You weren't just making conversation choices or choices. You still had to do things in the actual game to trigger the next conversation choice or choice that you had to make. Um,
Definitely.
this doesn't. This sounds like that was taken away. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm just going based on what the article said.
Yeah, I was gonna say more about this myself until I see what happened the first three Silent Hill games and see how good it is, and then you go to the newer games of today of Silent Hill. Then I can say something with solidified opinion about the matter. But you, of course, Triple J, you played Silent Hill before, so you understand the feeling in a
I
sense.
played very little Silent Hill. I played a little bit
Okay.
of Silent Hill Downpour. Um, I always, and that's basically it. I mean, um, most of what I learned about Silent Hill was from this article. Like fans love the first two, um,
Right.
and I understand Downpour. While Dashi did a full playthrough of that game, which was the last game to be released before this one. So if you want to watch Dashi's videos, Dashi games on YouTube, you can. Um, it'll take a while to get through all of them, obviously. Um, he played through the full game of Downpour. Um, so yeah, so if you can't afford the games, but you want to jump on this, find someone who did a let's play and watch a let's play series.
Definitely.
Just to have enough of an idea.
I will also mention too that I did see the first couple of hours of Silent Hill for the Room, which that's all right to see a gameplay of through a random YouTuber many years ago. That was all right to watch. I'll probably get it all. I'll definitely get all the first 3 or 4 Silent Hill games and then take my time with them as I go along in life. You know,
At
but
least
right
get
now,
yeah. I'd say for safety, at least get the first two, and then I'd watch videos on the next to see if you would like it.
yeah.
Because I did play Silent Hill 3 and I couldn't figure out what I think I played Silent Hill 3. I couldn't figure out what the hell to do, or how to progress the story.
That's how it is back in the day. There was no like holding the hands. There was no marks the spot. You had to explore,
Yeah.
and find out and they investigate and continue, persist. Now most of these games are holding your hand to tell you where to go to. Now,
Well, I really don't mind the games that feature a waypoint or games that tell you where to go. Um, because I mean the challenge should be in getting there, not figuring out where to go.
yeah,
That's just my uh opinion. But like look at Resident Evil 5. Uh, you know, you knew where to go, but the
yeah,
challenge was from getting from point A to point B.
yeah.
Um, maybe not the best example, but I enjoyed most of Resident Evil 5.
Maybe that's the best example you think.
Okay, seeing as how I lost all credibility on this, you go ahead.
I mean, Resident Evil 5 is all right. Don't get me wrong. It's still, I did hook myself onto that game back in the day, back when I was working full time as a ramp agent for my local airport for about a few months. So that was worth buying at the time. But after like a couple of years, I gave up on that game most of the time. I still play Resident Evil 5, which is the Xbox One edition or the Xbox One version from time to time. But that's about it. So
Yeah, I never beat Resident Evil 5. I was at the last boss before my disc got I think it got cracked in the middle.
okay,
So, but I was at before my disc got before it broke. I was at the final boss. So
yeah.